He's the kind of filmmaker who doesn't just write stories, he makes sure they get told. From humble beginnings in Flint, Michigan to directing features from Hollywood, names like Tara Reid and Kevin Sorbo. He's a creative force who wears every hat on set, sometimes literally. He's a screenwriter, director, producer, occasional actor, and always a relentless storyteller. Whether it's a festival-nominated drama or a madcap pandemic comedy like Dr. Quarantine, his work pushes boundaries and brings unlikely characters to life. And let's be honest, anyone who can wrangle actors, cameras and editors while still making it look like fun, that's someone worth talking to. Please welcome to the show, Jared Vineyard.
I said I want to see the Dave Benson Show, and I can't stop and never gonna let it go. I said I want to see the Dave Benson Show, and I can't stop and never gonna let it go.
Jared, welcome.
All right, thank you. It's kind intro.
No, how are you today? Are you're in LA?
Yeah, I'm in the LA area. I'm actually up in Pasadena. But
nice. And it's a Thursday night. What's a Thursday night for Jared look like?
Well, it depends on the Thursday. Tonight I'm actually going to go to a screening. So I have a friend who directed and produced a movie that's over in a festival down at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. So I'll be heading over to that tonight. But yeah, I mean, a lot of nights it's just stay home with the family. Got 2 boys and a wife, and hang out with them until they go to bed, and then work on a script. So yeah.
How old are the boys?
They're 10 and 13.
Oh, that's the best age. That's where they still want you around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They don't hate me yet, so that's good. Hopefully, won't get to that point, but we'll see what happens in his teenage years. Are just getting into them with the older one, and he's still good, still likes his parents, so that's nice.
What does he think about what Dad does?
They seem to like it. They haven't been like on set or anything at this point, so I guess it still has a little bit of mystique to it. Oh, Dad makes movies, doing something, and they get to see little things here and there. But yeah, they generally are positive because I don't know. When you're that age, you're kind of positive about everything, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I feel my kids are the same. I feel you. Yeah. So you grew up in Flint, Michigan, and you started out. So you started out as a playwright in college, where you produced your first full-length play, and then someone asked you to start screenwriting, and that was the moment everything changed. Is that pretty much the story?
Yeah. So I made a deal when I was my senior year of college to produce my first full-length play that I'd written. Just a little deal with the theater. We'll split the box office. I'll direct it elsewhere. I'll have everything all set. I'll build the set elsewhere. I'll just bring everything in for when we perform. Then I'll take it all back out. You don't have to do anything. And that's it. And they went for it. And yeah, from there, someone wanted me to write a screenplay. He was going to go to film school and become a director. And he wanted me to write him a zombie movie. And so I was like, okay, I like zombie movies. And the approach that he had was like, we're going to be the guys who bothered to watch every zombie movie ever made. And so we spent the summer and we watched 69 zombie movies. I didn't know there were that many in existence.
What year was it? I'm just trying to ascertain.
That was
what kind.
2005, 2004, I guess. 2004, 2005, right around that time period. Because it was 2005 when I, packed up my car and just drove from Michigan to LA. After that, but yeah, I mean, looking at the options of try to make it in theater and have a career there versus a career in film doing screenwriting and stuff. And with theater, you gotta go someplace probably cold like New York or Chicago, and film is Hollywood, LA. It's warm, right? There's the most expensive weather in the world. So without knowing exactly how expensive that weather was, but yeah, I love movies as much as I love theater and stuff. So I had no problem with that. Although I knew less what I was doing. I was learning how to write screenplays versus stage plays, and jumped on any set I could once I got out here to try to get a feel for how the movies were actually made. Thought that would help me as far as writing them to to be shootable. so, so yeah, uh, that's it.
I've got to ask Jared, with all of that zombie knowledge,
Uh,
what's the best zombie movie? And you
oh
can't pick
man.
any of your own.
Well, I mean that's tough. I mean, if you want just the straight, quintessential zombie movie, it's Night of the Living Dead. It kind of started everything, Romero. But then, I mean, I love like your zombie comedy things like your Shaun of the Dead, which probably I think came out right around that time that I was writing that that screenplay, and Zombieland that came out later was a really fun one too. But yeah, I mean, if you want like the zombie movie, you go back to Night of the Living Dead, and if you want the FMZs, those fast moving zombies, then 24.
There's so many these days. They went through a whole zombie kind of era in the 2000s.
Oh
Like
yeah,
everyone
yeah. They,
jumped
they
on
they
it.
blew up there for a minute, and then they've calmed back down. And I don't know. Now we've got the 28 years later coming out, but 28 days later when that came out, that one was quite good and kind of got that chilling feel back up with them, especially with those zombies like chasing people and running full speed at them.
Yes.
Just the hordes that it's also pretty creepy when you eventually just stuck inside the horde and can't get out.
So you drove from Michigan to LA. What
Mhm.
was that? I mean, are you seriously, like a lot of people say this, I got in the car and I drove and I gave it all up. But did you literally get in a car and was like, I've got nowhere to go, I know no one there, and drive? Or did you have it all? Like, what was the story?
Yeah, so I just packed my car with everything that would fit in it and headed out. I didn't have a job. I didn't have industry contacts. I didn't have like an apartment lined up or anything like that. And my mom hated the plan. She's like, this is not what we do. I was like, it'll be an adventure. It'll be fine. I had a friend who was way down at the bottom of Texas, and I went and visited her on the way out. So I ended up, driving through Texas. Spent more time driving through that state than like all the rest combined. It's just a massive, massive state.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I did find out like right before I left that a few people that I had known from early on in college, uh, lived out here, and so uh, ex-girlfriend gave me their contact and stuff like that. So when I came out here, I slept on their couch for like a week or two while I found someplace to rent and jumped into that. And but yeah, just packed the car and came, yeah, with no no nothing, no apartment, no job, no clue.
That's
Just
a
go.
hell of a brave thing to do. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of, I hear it a lot, but just to take that risk and not know what's going to happen.
Well, when you're young, you don't have kids yet, you don't have like a wife yet, you don't have you don't have all those responsibilities that later kind of pile on. It's a little easier to take a massive risk like that where you're just going to jump across the country with no idea what's going to happen, just confident that you'll figure something out. And
Yeah, I remember those days when I had long flowing hair.
it's just those lovely, lovely locks that you shaved off intentionally because you were too
Yes.
beautiful. Um,
It just grows too fast. I had to get rid of it. It's all it
yeah,
was. So,
I
so
think that's where it goes. Most people.
was there a movie when you were growing up that kicked this all off? Was there something like as a kid that you were like E.T. or whatever it may be that you were like, holy moly, I want to be part of this industry?
I mean, when I was a kid, uh, there were so many good movies back then. Yeah, and I grew up on those standards, your Star Wars, that original trilogy, of course, and Indiana Jones, like these fun adventure kind of action movies that were great. And they were just kind of fun storytelling to disappear into. And I enjoyed, I enjoyed, most movies are coming like, T2, Little Shop of Horrors. There was a wide range of movies I'd watch. There was a cartoon when I was a kid of The Hobbit, that was like made for TV that managed to get on tape and would watch that every day for a little while. So I mean, there's so many movies that I loved, and now there's like one of my favorite go-to movies is Spartacus, but it's like this three and a half
Ooh.
hour. epic from 1960, Kirk Douglas and Kubrick directing, although he doesn't really claim it because he kind of took over directing partway through and wanted to reshoot everything that was already shot, and they're like, no, we're not reshooting everything. So he's like, no, it's not my movie then. But great movie. But whenever I get sick, I usually throw that movie in because it's such a great movie. And I'm down now. I'll watch that. I've got the time because I can't go anywhere, do anything. But yeah, I don't know if I could narrow it down to like it's just this one film that absolutely got me into movies. I'll always love them. Always love the experience of going to the theaters with my folks and stuff. And they would often take me out to whatever's coming out, like Independence Day when that came out.
Classic.
Whichever movie it is, or even now when I go back and visit my folks, I'll drag them out to movies. I remember dragging my dad to Django Unchained when that one came out. And Quentin Tarantino, I love Quentin Tarantino movies, especially like the older ones. But I'm like, those aren't my parents' kind of cup of tea. Like they hate like the movies with a lot of swearing and a lot of stuff like that. So it's like, so kind of dragging them out to a movie like that. But it's still fun to do when I do.
How do you find watching movies? Because I asked this, it was Ileana Vasquez who was on, and she was a filmmaker, and we had this conversation. I said, how do you watch a movie? And she said it's painful because her big thing was continuity. And she said to me, she always picks up continuity, and she referenced the Downton Abbey of where a coat would change or something. Like, is that the same for you when you watch it? And, the illusion's kind of gone because you know what's happening?
Yeah, the continuity I can, unless it gets really bad, usually I let that go. You'll like, I think it's Goodfellas, like some of these really good classic movies, like the editor will go ahead and let there be some continuity issues because that's the best shot with the most emotional resonance. That okay, he had a cigarette, he turns around, that's not there, and it should be if the continuity's correct. So usually I let that slide unless it's Stardust or whatever, where they're holding the knife to the guy's. It's on his face, it's on his neck, it's on his face, and you just can't watch it. But usually it's more the story that I have trouble watching without predicting what's going to happen, and I'm always wanting the movie to surprise me. I want it to do something that I don't expect, and it's pretty rare that you get to watch a movie and they make a decision, they make a turn in the movie, a plot thing that you just didn't see coming, so it's really exciting when I do get those moments, where you hit it, like I think one of the
Usual Suspects.
The Usual Suspects.
Oh, you guessed it?
Yeah, but the although I felt kind of stupid after Sixth Sense because I feel like the ending of that was given away right at the beginning, and that one I didn't pick up. Although I was a little younger too, it was before I've studied as much screenwriting watching that movie. But sometimes you just have those. It's just like, oh, I should have. But that's a fantastic feeling because that's what you want. You want to get. You love those kind of endings where you get to the end and it's surprising, but it's inevitable. It should have happened. That's where it should be going, and it got there, and yet it still manages to surprise you in some way. I think the last one that had kind of a moment that surprised me was maybe The Hateful Eight, another Tarantino one where they I guess I shouldn't just give this. Well, it's old enough that spoilers shouldn't matter, but where suddenly a character's puking and getting killed that you don't expect them to take them out that early. So, but yeah, usually it does get painful because there's a lot of movies now that aren't as good as they could be because they're busy trying to push some message or some political thing or some whatever it is that they're doing, and it seems like they're focusing on that instead of just telling a good story, and it starts to feel cringy, and the plot's very predictable, and what's going to happen. Even the dialogue, you can say what they're going to say before they say it, which is, feels like a cardinal sin to me. I mean, that kind of stuff. So, so that's where it gets painful to me because I'm always sitting there breaking down, and it's pretty rare now to find a movie to just watch and be able to completely shut that off because they're doing such a great job of just telling the story that I'm not sitting there analyzing it, and it's hard to turn that off even on a good one, to analyzing the story and guessing what's going to happen and trying to figure out what they're doing, and looking at how what tools they're using to tell the story, and where they're kind of setting you up to set up a turnaround over here, or payoff over here, that kind of thing.
So how does that work for you? Because based on what you've just told me, you've got to take that level of perfectionism that you've just summarized and say, how am I going to tell a story that in turn is going to surprise me, so to speak?
Yeah, so that's always a challenge. Each script, when I start writing it, ends up having its own kind of approach based on, I guess, what kind of story I'm telling, or kind of where that story came from. If it more came from these interesting characters, or if it's more of a concept idea that I'm building great characters for, or whatever, however it may be. You kind of want some kind of outline and feel for where you're going, and there'll be some scripts where I've outlined very heavily, and you get to the end of a draft and it's pretty much done. There's not a whole lot of rewriting that you need to do. If you get much looser, then you have a whole lot of rewriting and reworking to do on it. Yeah. But being a little bit looser is when you can really and hopefully maybe land somewhere between there. I've got a decent outline. I know where it's going. I know where it's got to get to. I know kind of these big beats that are going to come, but it's loose enough that a character gets to a point within a character where if I've built that character enough in my head, the character can kind of make a decision that's surprising. It's like, that I wouldn't do what I initially thought that character was going to do. This is what he would actually do, or she would actually do, and yes, that's where you can kind of find that in your own stuff, and it's fun. It's always a fun experience when you're finding the story and you're discovering it along the way, and all that, and then you're hoping to go and get it made, and that story that's on the page actually comes out on the screen. So that's a whole other it's a whole other thing. I've seen the opposite of that enough. So
yes. Now, you wrote Dr. Quarantine, which is a pandemic comedy with Tara Reid.
I wouldn't call it a comedy. So it's much more kind of thriller, psychological thriller, drama even. There's maybe one or two moments where a little bit of humor comes out, although a lot of the little humor moments that are in the script didn't even quite make it into the film, so it's got even less humor than it would have had in the thing. So I wouldn't call it a movie. I wouldn't call it a comedy, but I think some people think that because it's starring Tara Reid, and she's got a long history of doing comedy movies and stuff, going back to probably the movie that launched her into the biggest stardom with American Pie.
Yes.
But she's fantastic in the movie. I mean, just really, really dramatic, really, I don't know, went to some emotional spaces that not everybody can go to and unleash in front of people or in front of a camera. So she did a really great job. It's been going around the festivals and stuff, and she's been garnering some Best Actress awards and stuff for it. So it's fun to see that she's been getting that going. Yeah.
That's awesome. You've also worked with Daniel Baldwin, Kevin Sorbo, Louis Ferrigno. Is your any inner 90s kid just screaming out in you and like just saying how crazy that is?
I mean, these are all people that it's like, as a kid, love. I mean, the first one that I worked with Lou Ferrigno, because I wrote the script, and we're going to make the movie, and I'm going to be the first AD on this thing, and okay, this is exciting. It's the first time that I've had a movie that's going to have some actors that I know who they are, and especially with Lou Ferrigno. I mean, I used to love the Incredible Hulk as a kid, watching
the Hulk.
I absolutely loved it. It's like one of the minor heroes of my my childhood and stuff like that. And so there's part of me that didn't even really believe it was happening. It's like, yeah, sure, we've got Lou Ferrigno. Yeah, sure, we've got these actors aren't going to really be on there. until I'm working on the schedule, getting everything set up as we're preparing, and I get a call, from him. It's like, Jerry, this is Lou. I'm like this is Lou Ferrigno. It's like this big giant booming voice, where he's actually he had the flu, and he says like, I'd like it if you moved my shooting dates back to the end of the production, which I was like, oh, but Tara Reid was actually also in that one. We had her for one day where she's shooting with him, and she was like right at the beginning of the production. You couldn't move her. It's like I can't just move you to the end. So my first interaction is having to have a mini conflict with the Hulk, being like, well, I can move all your shooting days except for this one. I need you there on that day at the beginning, and we were still like a week out. So it's like there should be enough time to recover from from feeling sick. I hope. And I told one of the producers on the thing about the conversation. He's like, the Incredible Hulk can't get sick. That's not a thing. But he came on and he was great. Actually, we had like during the shoot, there was one point where one of the PAs came over and got me, and I was like, Lou wants to see you, and I go over to his dressing room and stuff, and like it's about the script. I'm like, okay, it's fine out. I go in there, and he steps up to me and he grabs me by the collar and he goes, and it just starts into like this intense, like kind of scary, attacking monologue that's in the script. He gets to the end of it, he's like, how was that? I was like, that's perfect. You do that. It's great. Okay, I'm frightened. He had like still like to this day. I mean, he's got biceps that are bigger than my head. He's still giant. And incredible. So yeah, no, it's totally fun. Yeah, getting to work with these people, and then Kevin Sorbo, him, I'm working with him right now on trying to get. We're working on producing a movie called Loaded Deck that I wrote and will be directing. He's one of the stars in it. So yeah, Hercules. I used to watch that show with my dad when I was a kid, and he's amazing. To work with, super easygoing, super professional, great to talk with and stuff like that. So we haven't got a chance to get on set together yet because we're still getting the money together to go shoot and all that. So him and Daniel Baldwin are in that one, and we've got a bunch of other great people like Quentin Aaron, the main guy from The Blind Side, Charlotte Kirk, and Natalie Byrne, and just a big list. Dean Picard, the little funny guy from all the South Park guys movies. Wow. So a really fun cast, and a lot of those people are kind of big from those 90s kind of time when I was growing up, and then a couple are right now getting bigger and bigger as well. William Mark McCullough, he's slated to star in that, and he's he's in Avengers, Captain America, the Brave New World right now, and his character's kind of rumored to come back and stuff, and if he does, that'd be pretty big for us too, because that character in the comic books becomes Demolition Man and an Avenger at one point. So if they actually turned him into an Avenger, that would be pretty amazing for the little film over here that's got him in it. So yeah, definitely some fun stuff.
It must be really hard for you to differentiate between fun and passion and actual work, because like I can hear in your voice how passionate you are about what you do, and from screenwriting to directing to working with the actors and just actually making the movie, I can hear the passion from yourself, but I can also see the fun as well within your eyes to say, these people are amazing, this is a great deal of fun. How do you find that?
Yeah, I mean that's the amazing part. When it gets time to shoot, I mean, there's all sorts of problems and crazy things you have to figure out and go through, and then sometimes there are other people who are on the project who are might be difficult to work with or give problems or stuff. But I mean, most people that I've met who have some kind of name are all pretty amazing people, especially as you get to know them more. They they tend to be great. So yeah, I mean, especially if you're doing something that is kind of comedic. I mean, Dr. Quarantine is much heavier, kind of movie. So I mean, you could probably get away with making something like that where you're not having as much fun, and it's okay because that's the feeling of the movie. But if you're making a comedy and you're not having fun, I have trouble thinking it's going to be funny. I have trouble thinking
Yeah,
it's
you're
going to be
doing it wrong.
a fun movie. Even like an action thing where you're just supposed to be having fun following these characters, and if everybody making it is having an awful time, like unless it's some big heavy movie where you're supposed to kind of feel awful after it, which is not my favorite kind of movies. There are definitely some good movies like that. Your Apocalypse Now, or your Black Swan, or, these movies that are just hey, watch it. This is a great movie. I don't know if I'm going to watch this again because it's heavy. I've seen it. I've got it in my repertoire. I'll watch it again if I need to study it for some reason because I want to try to take some of the tools that they're using in it. But yeah, I think that fun is an important part of the whole process. I mean, and that's why I'm doing this kind of thing anyway as a career. Like I came out of high school and I had the opportunity to go to school completely free board and study engineering. and
Oh, wow.
could have gone been an engineer and would have made much more money than at least than I'm currently making. That can change, I guess, with time. But but as I looked at it and I looked at all the different options, there's nothing here that I would enjoy doing, that I want to do, that I think I would have kind of fun and passion about. It would just be a job and that's it, and didn't want to feel miserable after a day of work. And there are going to be tough days, and you're working through a script, and you put in pull an all-nighter trying to get something done for a deadline and working through hard parts of it, and it's tough, and you're sweating, you're breaking through something, and it's all mental work. And you can have hard moments like that, and on set, or trying to get things set up for set, or oh, the money's in so we can go shoot. Oh, that money's gone. Oh, the money's out. Oh, it's gone again. That there's the frustration things that are definitely part of it. But yeah, I mean, you just have to have fun with the parts that are fun, and enjoy those and celebrate the small victories that come, because the small victories stack up to bigger and bigger victories. And
that's right.
To move forward in your career or whatever you're doing. I mean, you could apply the same thing to whatever you're doing in life, whether it's work or anything else, right?
And you also you post a lot of behind the scenes footage as well. Do you like pulling back the curtain so people can see what's going on and connecting with the audience?
I do. I post a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff, and but I'm not. It's funny because I work in film and taking pictures all the time, but I don't personally tend to pull my phone out and take a lot of pictures. A little bit here and there, maybe, and so I don't usually have tons of the BTS stuff, unless so you get like they got the photographer on set who sends over a bunch of stuff, and then you'll share some of that or something there. But I do like to pull it back. I mean, that was one of the cool things when I was a kid with Lucas and with Spielberg and stuff like that. Like they were really big about showing you how the magic was done. They would really share that with audiences and stuff, and you could see all this really cool behind the scenes stuff. Oh, this is how they made those starfighters look good and made like whatever working. So I think that's a cool thing. I like to watch some of that stuff, and so I enjoy sharing it.
Yeah. It used to be cool, and I know what I've seen Indiana Jones when he's on the bridge, and then they show you how the camera was set up, and Star Wars obviously with the models, and they show you how that was done. Yeah. But nowadays, whenever you get to see a Marvel movie or something behind the screen, it's just someone. I watched one before this, actually, and it was a guy running through an office, and it was fast camera spinning around him. He was going multiple ways in this office. And I was like, how did they shoot that? And then it showed underneath. He was on a treadmill with a wire on his back. The camera was rotating around him, and it was total green screens all around. And I was like, Well, that's not as much fun for me to watch as the Indiana Jones, the old way of doing it.
Yeah, that's like the Ben Stiller stuff with Severance, right? That's that
Yes,
the show there
yes,
that's all there. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff now. It's like it's just in front of green screen and things. And yeah, it's not as much fun. Although it is kind of cool to see kind of how it's composed and put behind them and everything. But yeah, I mean the big sets with the models and the things that they've constructed, all of that is definitely more fun. And I think
yeah,
as an actor, there's something that's nice and cool about it. Like you're interacting in a real space instead of just green behind you, and you have to kind of create everything in your own head. So I so some of that magic sometimes feels a little bit lost, and we watch movies and you just see it like when you're watching some of these big superhero films, and it's like I'm just watching a green screen movie.
yes, yes,
Everything's kind of fake in the background, and that's where you really depend on that storytelling to be good. Like, are these characters really well written? Are the interactions fun and quippy? Are there real turnarounds that are surprising? Is it going to take me on a journey where there's the character's got to work through something, or character fails to, he's gonna fail to succeed here, or whatever else. And yeah, it's yeah, there's something lost, but there's also something gained, and like you can make pretty much anything you could imagine
yes.
with this stuff, which is cool because there are so many limitations before. I mean, when I was a kid, I collected comic books and read those things, so and it felt impossible for them to do these movies like X-Men. I had all these X-Men comic books, and then the X-Men movie came out, and it was thrilling. It was amazing to see, oh, they can do this team of superheroes thing. And it's come a long way since then as far as what they can do. But it is really cool that you can take these crazy ideas and these things. There's a book series that I always wanted to try to someday adapt. It was when I was a kid. There's no way you could have made it. Like maybe if you did like an animated version, you could possibly pull it off. But the sheer imagination of the writer and the crazy things, and I'm not going to say what series it is, and so someone doesn't like jump on it and take it. But all right, look at him. I'm going to do that.
Harry Potter.
Somebody's got it. They're going to do it eventually. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing really that you can imagine that you can't somehow create a movie version of it at this point. Whereas there's a time where it wasn't. But there's also something really cool and special when you don't have that money. You don't have, you've got all these constraints. You've got to figure out a way to practically pull these things off. And if you do, and there's a lot of fun in that problem solving of figuring out how exactly you're going to do it. But if you pull it off, it's kind of a magical thing, and it makes the movie feel kind of special and too. So. Yeah,
I agree. So what's coming up for you? You got Loaded Deck coming out. Well, gonna be coming out.
Yeah, so
hoping to come
out.
out.
One I mentioned before. Yeah, so that's the one with Kevin Sorbo and Daniel Baldwin and Charlotte Kirk and Mark McCullough and Quentin, like a whole list of fun, great actors to be in there. And yeah, so I'm working on getting the funding in place so we can go shoot that. That's been a process. A few times where it's like, oh, we got it, we're ready to go. Oh no, it's gone. No, we got it. No, it's gone. So that's been the process with this one getting off the ground. But we've got some pretty good momentum going right now. So hopefully we'll get there. If anyone out there, if you're an accredited investor, come on over. We can make this happen. But yeah, I mean, it's a really fun one. There's some homage to Quentin Tarantino in it. You kind of take this main character, this protagonist, who he should be in like a romantic comedy, a Sleepless in Seattle kind of thing. It's just sweet, fall in love with somebody. Instead, he's thrown into like a Quentin Tarantino crime type of movie, like Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs, and so he's an undercover cop, and he's falling in love with the woman he's supposed to be taking down instead of just taking her down, and the heist that goes wrong, and suspicion turns on him. He's got to prove someone else on this crew, this crazy crew of characters, and that's where you get like your Kevin Sorbos and Quentin Aaron, the giant football player from The Blind Side, right, and the little squeaky Dean Bakars, the little tech specialist guy, but who's ready to try to shoot somebody every left second because he doesn't trust anybody, and all these really fun, interesting characters not trusting each other and all kind of turning their eye on that main character. He's got to prove on one of them's the bad, one of them is the snitch. They messed this up, not me. Or the boss lady's gonna kill him. So I mean, I'm married, so I know that feeling of one day the woman you love may kill you. So that's that kind of.
I know that every morning.
Kind of thing. Yeah. But then I'm also working on a script right now with a former NFL player based on his life. Like he had a playing career that spanned quite a few years over 3 different teams. He was with the Rams, and he was with the Vikings, and he was with the Raiders. But the whole time that he was a player, he was also a drug dealer, and he had the feds after him, and it's crazy. So his story's outrageous. It's just crazy. And so working on the script for that right now to develop that, and hopefully that one will come off. But James Harris is the player. His stuff's already out there. He's already put out that he's this is his past and and stuff, and he spent a couple of years in jail before turning his life back around and stuff. But
wow,
great guy, great story, really interesting stuff there. So that's probably my 2 biggest things that I've got going on right now. Tomorrow I'll go to a little screening fest thing with a short that I was brought on to write, a little sci-fi thing called At Will. I got picked for this. I don't know. It's like this little program, this CFC thing where you cooperate with other filmmakers just to make something quick, and big competition. I don't know, hundreds of filmmakers. Everybody's making films real quick, and then they throw them all together and compete, and whatever gets picked, wins get shown for this thing, and then you do whatever you want with it, which is kind of fun. I don't normally do shorts. I normally just focus on the features, but that was a fun experience to do as well. So
awesome.
Tomorrow go see that on a screen over, actually down in Hollywood, Beverly Hills, where same place where they do the Oscars at that theater. So that'll be fun to be in there.
Cool. Right. So for any of Jared's details, for all of his movies that he's got coming up, for all of the movies that he's made, where do you want them on the screen? Whereabouts do you want them? Up, down, left, right?
You put it wherever works for you. You come in. But yeah, you can check the things out. I've got a little website, not too much on it, just a placeholder, I guess, the jaredvineyard.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn. Is probably where I'm most active. Everybody always wants to trade info with Instagram, so I finally started posting something on there after having it for a couple years, several years, without ever posting anything. So I don't know. In all the places you can find me, I guess. I'm around. So yeah.
Awesome. All of it. We'll put his details all around. You'll be able to find them everywhere here. We're going to be back. Thank you so much, Jared. It's been a great to talk to you and to catch up and to learn all about what you've got going on. We're going to be back right after these messages.
Oh, the devil lives below, and he tells me where